Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Higurashi again. So I wasn't really expecting to come back, at least not this early, and certainly not to Matsusuri Bayashi, but I did hear that there was an extra fragment that you missed, sort of like after you finish the game there's an additional option to get. And what this entails to get to. So what you normally do in all these fragments is you read through them, you get to the end, and there's this one like leftover fragments final miracle, which then allows you to go back into this fragment. This one right here never appears during, I would say, regular gameplay or regular reading through it. You have to read through them in a very specific order. And it's like you basically have to follow a guide, because if you remember, some of these fragments will say this fragment is required first. Well, in my head when I was playing through it, I'm like, okay, let's read through all these first. You don't actually do that for the correct ending. While a lot of it does kind of follow the same sort of story, you actually need to read through it in a very specific story. And as I found out the first time I tried this, if you mess up, misclick on something and it says this fragment cannot be completed yet, that locks you out. Because I got through this whole thing and it didn't unlock. And so I went back and I did it again. And I did it correctly this time, and now this fragment unlocked. So anyway, from my understanding, because I did look at a little YouTube video just to get a timestamp on how long this would take, this should be a pretty short fragment, relatively speaking. But we're going to go through it really quick, just as a little extra video. So, let's get started. She needs to be rescued too. A girl's cheerful voice echoed in the house. It was a tenement house, so walls were thin. So, of course, your yell carried through to the neighbors, but since it was a child's voice, no one complained.
Miyoko, お父さんたちデパートへ行こうと思うんだが。
Her father's voice didn't reach the girl, because all she was thinking about was making a new secret base with her friends in the field. Her father knew the girl had been looking forward to going to the mall, and that if they went without her, she would be upset. He also knew that the girl liked collecting flags from the kids' meals at the restaurant there, and one more would bring her collection to 20 flags. The girl was making a wish on those flags. She believed if she collected 20 of them, she could become happy. Oh well, he supposed he'd bring a flag home as a souvenir. It wouldn't be a big deal. If he asked a waitress, she'd bring one for him. On that day, due to an accident, the trains were running behind schedule. To make up the time lost, drivers were braking a little too late and accelerating a bit too soon. It was rather unsafe. The Tanashi family didn't own a car. They always used a train to go to the mall. As the girl skipped her way to her friend's house, an unfamiliar woman stopped her. Obviously, she wasn't from around there. The ties between the neighbors were very tight around there. The girl knew everyone's face. So if there was a stranger, it was either a new mailman or someone who's lost. The woman said to the girl,
行きたい? 死にたい?
That's kind of strange. Any person would think the woman was crazy, asking something like that. But the girl was too innocent to think that way. She answered immediately.
行きたい! そう、ならお行きなさい。どうせ行っても友達は留守だけど、それでもお行きなさい。留守なの?
The girl couldn't figure out why this woman would know that. As the woman left, the girl stopped her. She was curious, although it was a little scary as to what response she'd get if she answered differently.
なら、死にたいだとどうなるの? お子様ランチの旗がもう一本手に入るわ。え？ずるい！私に内緒でデパートに行く気だ！ずるいずるい！
the girl turned and tried to run back home.
いいのね。後悔はしないのね。
The mysterious woman tried to confirm this.
なんで後悔するの？教えないわ。意地悪だから。
The girl thought this was some kind of a riddle, so she pondered it for a while, but she couldn't figure it out. Then she clapped her hands as if she came to a conclusion.
大丈夫だよ、おね。どうして大丈夫なの？何があってもお父さんとお母さんが一緒だもん。
The woman stepped aside. The girl bowed to her and ran home. She saw her parents locking the door to leave. The girl jumped on them and nagged them that she wanted to go too. The girl was going to the mall with her family. The family headed to the train station, waited for a train to arrive, and got on it. The driver was feeling the pressure to make up for the delay, and the passengers could tell that from the way he was driving. The girl noticed the unusual swaying of the train. She stood on her knees and looked out the window. Her mother told her to sit down because it was dangerous. The girl stuck her tongue out. Then, the train reached a very big and very sharp curve. The train tilted in that direction, and all the people were shoved to the side. They were all squished together and grumbled about it. Then, the train continued to... The girl and her parents came home under the sky full of stars with shopping bags in their hands. So they didn't die? They unlocked the door, turned the lights on, and then the girl put her bags by the front door and ran into her room. She opened her desk drawer, took something out of her pocket, and put it in. She closed the drawer once, but opened it again, then spread her treasure on the tatami floor. They were the flags of many different countries that came with the kids' meals. The Japanese flag, the American flag, the English flag. Which country was this for? The one with 3 colors. She lined them up as she counted. She counted out loud. Then she danced around happily, for she now had 20 of them. It took her so long to collect that many. It was hard work for this girl who was so proud of herself for reaching her goal. She worked so hard that there must be something good waiting for her. She made a wish to become happy if she collected 20 of them. Therefore, something wonderful must be waiting to happen. The girl waited excitedly, but soon realized it wasn't a magic lamp, so no genie would be jumping out. Maybe it wouldn't happen that night. Maybe it'd be tomorrow. The girl decided to wait patiently. She accomplished something as great as collecting 20 flags. Surely some wonderful happiness awaited. Surely some wonderful miracle awaited. Or perhaps it might be like a charm, keeping sad misfortunes at bay. The girl put her 20 flags back in the drawer. As she heard her mother tell her to brush her teeth and go to bed, she ran to the bathroom. This is fine, isn't it? It's okay to get a miracle in advance. What should I do next? There are plenty of fragments to play with. What? You want to try too? Hee hee, it's fun. It makes you feel like God. A world with Satoshi, or a world where the Sonozaki sisters didn't switch. I wonder what a world with Satoko's parents and Rika's parents alive and well would be. Oh, how about this? Akasaka gets enticed to the enemy side by Takano. Haha, that sounds interesting. Personally, I'm curious about a world where Takano is madly in love with Tomitake. It'll be fun to match Keiichi with different girls too. I love drama very, very much. Hee hee. Let's see. What should I do next? I have so many fragments. Hey, do you want some? What kind of world are you going to make? The world of Higurashi when they cry will move on, even without us. There are many dreams, possibilities, and miracles in that world. There are innumerable fragments, all interweaved with one another. I've shown you a small number of those fragments, but it's up to you to play with the rest of them. The world of Higurashi is now in your hands. It is a big, wide world full of fragments, and they are yours to manipulate. Your dreams, your possibilities, and your miracles are yours to discover. Thank you for joining me in this 4.5-year tale about this world. I thank all those who supported me during this 4.5-year tale about this world. I thank all the characters who brought this 4.5-year tale about this world to life. Okay, there's a lot of thinking in here. It's an extra message to the character, or to the player, I should say. So that was an interesting extra. Of course, the idea is, let's stop all the bad stuff from happening at the source. Let's stop Mio's parents from dying in the first place. Somehow. I'm not sure, maybe that was just enough weight to keep the train from, swaying all the way off the tracks and, falling over. That's the only thing I can really think of as a real answer to that, realistically. Why would her going with her parents cause that to be different? Who knows? Maybe it was one extra girl's worth of weight that kept the train from sliding all the way off. Anyway, that took me a little while to get to. I've been sitting here recording for basically an hour to get you that 12 minutes of video. But half of that was my fault. Trying to make sure that you click on the exact right order on 51 different squares and not messing up once. I wouldn't say it's hard necessarily, but if you mess up, you got to start over, all the way over. I started making saves every 10 that I went through just in case, but I didn't have to do it that second time. The other weird thing that was happening is I normally have skip unread text to off. Because if I ever have to replay something, I want it to stop as soon as I get to where I stopped, where the new text is. And for some reason, most of the text in those fragments, it was letting me skip, but some of it wasn't. And I started trying to read through it to see if I could remember, is this actually different than it was before? I don't think it was, but for some reason the game was treating it like it was. So hopefully I didn't miss anything there. I'm not going to go back and go through every single line and determine if any of that was different in the fragments. I don't think it was, but if it was, I'm pretty sure it was probably minor enough that it didn't matter. But that was a cool little scene there. I like that. But of course, you do all that and there's no story, Anyway, but I guess that was sort of the happy ending maybe that we were looking for. The truly happy ending where none of this started from the first place. And Miyu never got anything to do with the Hinamizawa syndrome. Although then again, would that necessarily make the Hinamizawa syndrome never happen in the first place? Probably not. I would imagine it'd still be there. She just wouldn't have anything to do with it. And her grandfather's research would kind of die with him. Anyway, that is all. I do appreciate being told about this. Somebody might have told me about this. I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I just forgot. But thank you. Ayushiki for leaving me a note about that. Followed it on, there's a Wikipedia article that had the order on it. And with that, I think we are done with Matsuri Bayashi. And we'll see where we go from here in the future. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.